Greetings, everyone. Welcome once again to the Oz and Crew Reviews podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mad Matt.
Buy that for another $1.
I forgot to introduce myself as Ozzy. um, with us again as a rare guest is our friend Ojunix.
Evening, everybody.
Today we're going to talk about Robocop 3. And this is going to be a weird one because I really remembered hating this movie more than I did when we went into it. I still have a lot of issues with it, and we'll get into it when we really get going. But
Yeah, I too recall being more frustrated than I was in this viewing.
Yeah, I'm actually probably gonna be the sole defender because I was the one who generally enjoyed it before, and I still enjoy it now.
I think the thing is, I've just seen so many bad movies over the years since I originally saw this that it's like lowered my disdain for the movie because I've seen things that are so much worse. We've done things for the podcast that are so much worse because this is
You know what this movie is? It just dawned on me. This is the Star Wars prequels of RoboCop movies.
fucking hell. Or yeah, I'd say that or the Force Awakens of RoboCop movies. Because Force Awakens, I didn't like. Force Awakens was tolerable. The problem was
The first movie was good, and it had good ideas going into it. It's just that everything that followed up just disappointed everything.
yeah, everything that followed up ruined everything they set up to where it in that case, like this didn't have sequels to fuck it up, but Force Awakens got ruined by extension and by being associated with the sequels that completely fucked everything they set up in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to do a brief explanation of the story in this because we got a lot of characters to talk about as opposed to last time. The main idea is OCP has finally said fuck it. They're going to take the city by force so they can tear it down and rebuild the magnificent Delta City that they had planned for things. The movie starts out and it actually takes like 9 minutes before Robocop actually shows up in his own movie because they're just dealing with all this plot involving the rebels and the main plot of the movie before we ever actually see the actual star. I said this while we were watching it. It felt almost like, at least at the beginning, this felt like it was a movie, a different movie that didn't have anything to do with RoboCop. That had RoboCop in it. That shifted a little bit after he actually finally showed up in his fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the course of the movie, RoboCop has to once again do battle with his programming to stop him from stopping OCP people, and then eventually fight some evil mercenaries and an evil cyborg ninja to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pivotal plot point that we'll talk about when we're discussing our feelings about things overall, but the plot of this is overall pretty straightforward. Evil corporation taking over the city by any means necessary.
And the people that they hire to do it are becoming more and more corrupt than the actual company.
Yeah. Yeah, where the head mercenary like literally threatens the CEO near the end. Which I don't know.
And not only that, because of his actions, OCP's stock basically went down to nothing.
Yep. I mean, it should have really already been that after the second movie, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by talking about this before we start getting into different characters. And this is the thing that when I saw this movie original, I knew this was going to happen going into it this time because I've already seen the movie. When I saw this movie originally, and Lewis died.
Yeah.
I think when I saw it originally, my brain just shut off and I didn't care about the rest of the movie after that. Because she's like the main thing that anchored RoboCop to his humanity. And granted, they kind of try to give him substitute characters after that in this, but like I don't think the connection is as deeply there. It's just it soured the whole movie for me when I watched it the first time. Especially because she goes, like I pointed out this time, she goes in a really stupid way. Like, they stand up to the mercenaries, and she's like, if you're going to go after these people, you're going to have to shoot through us first. And the guy just goes, okay, and shoots her with this freaking automatic rifle
Assault
and
rifle.
just like insta kills her, basically. It's like, she's there with
Yeah,
Robocop. Why wasn't she standing behind him?
yeah,
Yeah,
she was standing like front and center and knew she had approached this place without any armor on.
I was gonna say because the one thing I would point out is like she always had a set of body armor uh,
In the previous
in the
movies.
first two movies. Yeah, but then for whatever reason, ever since she first shows up at the start of the movie, she never put any body armor. While every other police officer in the station had body armor on, she was the only one, and I have no idea why.
When she left with Murphy, she said she's not on the clock. That's their explanation.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it's like I said. I said this while we were watching it. There's a lot of points in this where something stupid happens because something stupid is the only way the plot can happen the way they want it to. And I
Yeah.
always hate this kind of writing. It was something like this was the thing that pissed me off most when I played through the Michonne Walking Dead video game, because like this is just a good example of what I'm talking about. There's a guy in that whose family has survived for a couple years into the zombie apocalypse without him losing anyone because he's smart, he knows what he's doing. And then you end up in a situation where he picks up a zombie hand, goes, "No children should see this," and he opens the armored fence when he knows that there are people after his daughter, throws the zombie hand out, and then just stands there talking to you while the fence is open. And it's one of those things where when it's happening, you're like, he's going to get shot. He's going to get shot. He's going to get shot. Bullet through the head. Yep. He literally died because stupid, even though like
Or
he's not stupid, but the story demanded he be stupid so he could
yeah,
die.
yeah. The story literally had to force him not to be him.
Logical.
Yeah.
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 And that's
Which
basically
is
what they did with Lewis here. She's not wearing her armor, and she's standing in front of the guy who's bulletproof instead of behind him. And it's like was a similar thing where we pointed this out like last movie when he fried himself, it deleted all his directives, so he had complete freedom. In this, he suddenly has all four directives back, the regular three,
Yep.
including you can't interfere with OCP. And Ojunix had stated, well, of course OCP would want to put that back in there. It's like, yes, but they're not directly supervising the person who maintains him. And considering how she feels about Robocop, there's no way she would have told them that it was gone for them to then have her put it back in. So,
that's
like,
true.
it was basically a retcon that they had to throw in there because if it wasn't there, he would have just
problem
gunned.
with
He
this,
would have
though.
just gunned down all of the rehab officers. If not before they killed Lewis, after they killed Lewis, he would have absolutely just murdered all of them, and the plot would have been over, and the movie would have been done a half hour in.
Yeah.
It's like, but
Unless yeah.
and there were parts of the movie I liked, but I'm griping about this now because it's like if you write yourself into a situation where something stupid has to happen in order for the plot to go forward the way you wanted it to, you're a bad writer and it shouldn't have gotten into that situation.
Agreed.
Like that just shouldn't have happened. Like it is annoying and mind-boggling. Why? Matt, do you have an opinion about that particular writing issue?
Yeah, sadly that does seem to be a writing issue that has
not-
popped up every now and again, and it's absolutely terrible. And it is basically undermining everything that fans hold dear every time they do it.
Yeah, it's undermining the overall plot of the thing when suddenly character has to be stupid so plot can go forward. It's like I'm sure you could have written that in a different way where it didn't make the character look like an idiot.
Right?
Yes.
And I could also name other places in games, but I believe there's still some controversy about them going on, so I'd rather not touch that with a 10-foot pole.
And we don't need to go on too many tangents. I was just bringing
Yeah.
the Walking
But yeah,
Dead thing up
but
as an
yeah,
example.
it's sad that it does seem to happen every
A
once in a
lot.
while, especially in video games and movies.
So, we can talk about the list of new characters we have. I think the big one is the little girl Nico,
Nico.
who
Yeah.
was basically a kid genius,
More or
Mhm.
less.
where she's dragged into this because she's with her parents, and they actually get an eviction notice telling them to leave, but they just lie to her and act like it's not happening until suddenly a wrecking ball comes through their window.
Yeah.
And they get put on the bus without her, and as we end up finding out, I've commented this when I was like, I guarantee you everyone that went on that bus is dead. And then later on they show a RoboCop going through like the files of people, and yeah, they're dead.
Yeah.
And then the weird thing is, the story ends without her ever actually being told her parents are dead.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just
it's not
equal,
directly for sure.
true, but I just equal it up to that. Robocop and the scientist lady just adopt her.
I mean, probably I wouldn't be surprised if the scientist lady did, but like it's still
Yeah.
kind of like you didn't address
I-
a story point. You didn't address a major story element properly.
I
You
know.
let the audience know, but you don't let us know how it got resolved. But yeah, they show that there's multiple times throughout the movie where she shows how smart she is. Like, her and the rebels are going to break into like an armory, and there's an Ed 209 guarding it, and she just hacks the Ed 209. Which I also think it's pretty poor design on the Ed 209, and I fully believe this would be an actual flaw that would be there considering the issues they've had with this robot in the past. But the Ed 209 has the flaw where he won't act until he's finished counting down. So she has time to run up to his leg, pop open his leg, and hack him.
I know. In fact, and the thing is, the Ed 209 literally looks down at her and sees what she's doing,
Like,
but it just goes
he's like,
back.
he's
looking
like,
at the,
he's basically like, you're not supposed to do that. Anyhow, 5, 4.
and then,
I am now authorized to be as loyal as a puppy.
And he is for the 5 minutes we got to enjoy him being on the good guys.
It was funny watching him just like unload at people that showed up to stop them and then blowing the door open for them.
And I'm almost kind of sad that Ed 209 didn't show up in the final fight.
Yeah,
I am loyal. I am loyal, puppy.
I feel like that was a wasted opportunity not bringing him back, because
I agree.
consider like at the end when the rehab officers have recruited an entire criminal gang to help wipe everyone out. I think having the Ed 209 there helping would have made it more believable that they actually somehow held out until RoboCop showed up.
Yeah,
Agreed.
have that tank actually take out the Ed 209.
Yeah, because the fact that the tank didn't wipe out more people than it did before RoboCop showed up was kind of
kind
of immersion breaking.
Hell, you actually probably could have made people invested and actually somewhat sad to see the Ed 209 killed, because you're like, he was there protecting them. But yeah, sadly, a missed opportunity.
I don't think. Is there anything else we can really say about Nico specifically?
Not much. She's kind of also a child replacement for Robo for a little bit here and there.
She's just basically the adorable child that Robocop's memories are kind of influencing him to be protective of her.
Yeah.
Looking at who else we have to talk about. The old CEO is gone. He's now replaced by a guy. I love how they never actually tell you the CEO's characters' names in these movies. They're just called.
He's
CEO.
just the new CEO,
played by
Rip Torn.
Yeah, who as I pointed out, the way he looks in this movie, he looks like the owner of the My Pillow company. A little bit, a little more chubby than he is, but he kind of looks similar. He's got that same mustache going on, and it was kind of weird when I saw him. I was like, because I'm like, why does he look? Oh my god, that's why he looks familiar. He looks like that one guy.
Yeah, if he didn't have his hair slicked back, yeah, probably would.
Yeah, he looks like the guy I'm talking about is Mike Lindell. He looked like Mike Lindell, which is weird.
Um,
He
not much to say about him. He wasn't necessarily evil. He just wanted to get
Yeah.
Delta City completely finally done.
yeah
He-
And,
he-
and thought that the mercenaries were doing a good job until he realized they weren't doing a good job and they were actually just kind of murdering people.
yeah
And he literally, and at the end, he just said,
he
"Screw it, I
yeah
quit."
yeah.
You
Well,
can
I
have
mean,
it.
because the thing is, he told them to stand down. The mercenary leader pointed a gun at him and told him to shut up and sit down. And then when Robocop showed up, he's like, "Okay, I'm out of here. Bye."
And then when the Kanamitsu, the another character,
Yeah, the
The
Japanese CEO.
the
He's the only one that actually has a name.
Yeah.
who actually shows up, and they taking a look around the city, and of course he's trying to kiss up.
He's like,
He says
"You're
something in
fired."
Japanese. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, saw that coming. Oh, also, Kanamitsu was played by Mako.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. He was Mako, and I didn't realize it was Mako. I'm like, oh,
Because you don't usually
Right.
see him. He's usually a voice actor.
well, I'm used to seeing him in a wizard robe, so that doesn't help much.
True.
That's what.
Oh yeah, he was in both the Conan movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
of course-
you the days of high adventure.
I mainly know him as the voice of Aku from Samurai Jack, and
Foolish samurai.
and Uncle Iroh from
Who
Avatar:
I wrote
Last
from
Airbender.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically my connection with him as well.
Him as Aku, he's iconic. I kind of wish, like, I might have recognized his voice if he actually spoke English at all in this movie.
Right.
But every line of
Yeah.
dialogue he said in this was in Japanese, and we had to read the subtitles or hear somebody translate what he said to actually know what he said. So it's not letting you really fixate on the voice when you don't actually understand the words coming out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That is an interest. That's he probably is one of the most high profile actors out of the new cast. Then I'd think.
Him and Rip Torn, yeah. And they also have some of the smallest roles in the movie.
The main
Right, that's right.
the main
Probably the most they can
villain.
afford them for.
The main
Oh yeah, the main villain.
main villain is named Paul McDaggett,
Paul,
and he is played
Played
by
by
John
John
Castle. Who
Trying to remember. Why does that name ring a bell for me?
I'm looking to see if there's any other roles I recognize in his IMDb, but I don't really see anything. It's probably, I think the reason his name probably sounds familiar is because of the last name Castle.
Might be.
Because Frank Castle is the Punisher.
Oh.
That's probably why the name
Might be
sounds
some of
familiar.
that.
He's been in a lot of stuff if you look at his IMDb, but it's not stuff that I particularly know that I've ever watched any of this. There are some noteworthy big name movies in here, like The Professionals, but that's a TV series. But this is just stuff that I've never watched, so I can't say that I recognize him from anything else. He's been in a lot of stuff though. He plays a bastard mercenary very well.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
I'll give him that. He plays a very charismatic, evil mercenary type very, very well.
yeah. I mean, at the start of the movie, he is usually very calm, though very aggressive, and by the end, he snapped because he just says, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna blow it all up."
F it. I'm going to take it all over no matter what, one way or another.
My solution to
Which-
everything is kill everything.
Which actually, I will throw. As much as I actually like this movie and defend it, I will throw a gripe. I just thought the whole thing with the suitcase was it's just caused the Japanese ninja robots to self-destruct, and as he puts it, thinking that it somehow will wipe out the board, aka the city. The
About
robots.
area.
The thing is, he activates it. The robots are in the building the whole time,
Yeah.
and even so,
Why would he
In the
activate it?
room with
Why would
him
he
at the
activate it
time.
when they're near him? That doesn't make sense.
exactly. Yeah, so when he's like, "You fools,
You've doomed
you
us.
doomed us all,"
Actually,
doomed us. I'm
you
like,
I doomed us, and I doomed my stuff because I'm still in this room like a giant idiot.
because I'm just thinking, it's like, even if they had successfully killed Robocop, it's like they're not going to get out of the building fast enough. Even if they jumped out the window, you're still fucked. It's like, what were you thinking?
Well,
So
it seemed like his implication was that they wouldn't self-destruct unless they died or whatever. But it's like, okay, well, why would you activate it when you're in the building and you don't know if they're going to win?
he,
It didn't make.
I
You're
don't,
right.
yeah,
It did not make any sense. It didn't make any sense
yeah.
at all.
No, I
Like
don't think
that is the one point, and that's the point. Well, actually, I'd say there's a couple points in the movie where his character is kind of stupid, like the fact that none of his officers shot Lewis. He did,
yeah.
and like he should have.
That just grants you grounds for being the target number one.
Yeah, that should have. He knows enough about RoboCop. He knows to know RoboCop's history. He should have known that doing that was going to sign his own death warrant.
He's a mercenary.
It doesn't matter if he's a mercenary. He's flesh and blood. He knows he's
the mercenary.
not.
He's being an idiot.
He knows.
As far as as far as he's concerned, is he's paying a lot of money to kill people. For all he knows, and if he's really has been doing his job for a long time, he probably thinks he's invincible. So thinking, oh, some robots, I could take care of it.
Yeah, but there's also the fact that if it had gone public, what he did, that would have undermined his whole thing because, like, he would have been fucked. Like, if it had gone public that he was the one that killed Lewis, because they framed RoboCop for it.
Right, which kudos to
doesn't sit well with any of the main characters, including the news reporter.
I was gonna say the news lady. She reads that report on the news, and she's immediately just going, I don't believe this crap. I can't.
No, this is
I can't
bullshit.
read it. Yeah,
Can you even believe this stuff? Nah.
yeah, and walks off going, RoboCop, you bullshit. But back to the villain,
granted, yeah, John Castle does a good job of playing him as an evil, conniving bastard. But
when the script is doing it right, he does it really right.
Yeah, but there's multiple times where the script, not like I said, the biggest issue with this movie in general is the script. The action's fine. I love that all the music from the original movie is back, which was missing in the second movie.
Yeah,
It felt really good in this one.
But the script makes him look like an idiot like multiple times.
I'm going to bring this back up since I brought this up for you guys earlier while we were watching it. So the script is a hodgepodge. Originally, it was supposed to all be one script for Robocop 2. They removed a whole bunch of elements to make Robocop 2 plausible. And then all the leftover elements were brought into 3. And yes, by the way, Frank Miller was the original writer for all of these. And eventually his original script was actually put to comic books. And it did look like it held up a lot better, at least in comic book format. I'm not sure how well that still would have held up in a movie. So that being said, it really does feel like this is a lot of leftover elements and then some stuff slapped in to just hold it together, only barely.
You know what's a good modern comparison to this is when there's a video game and they have DLC planned for the video game, but then some higher up at the company goes, that shouldn't be DLC. That should be a whole sequel. So you got to turn what should have been like a 2 to 3 hour, $15 project or add-on into a full priced video game where it's not super great because they got to make up a bunch of bullshit, which is what happened with Saints Row 4. That was supposed to be DLC for Saints Row 3, and they had to turn it into a whole game because somebody's like, no, aliens invading that needs to be a whole new game.
Bleh.
Yeah, and instead you're running around in a Matrix simulator doing the same activity over and over again to progress the story because it shouldn't have been a new game.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when the way you explain the what happened with this movie, where
And to also be fair, again, this is also Frank Miller. This is a guy who's had issues for quite a while, despite spikes in fame. So I'm not entirely guaranteeing that the original script was any good to begin with, and splitting it in half and then hodgepodging it made it only worse.
Fair.
The only thing I can say that saved this movie is that the editors, despite any low budget for editing, tried to do as much as they could with what they were given, and that Frank, was it Frank? The director, I think it was Frank.
no, it was Fred Decker was the director for this.
Fred Decker, yeah, who is a director I know from other movies that are actually really good. I can tell his fingers on some of the good parts in this because he's helping trying to keep it together. Because this was essentially the project handed to him to go, here, save this movie, and we'll allow you to finish your other really good personal project.
Right. Frank Miller is mainly credited for writing roles as far as
Writing the
movies go.
screenplay for this
Because
one, yeah.
Well, and with a lot of stuff, it seems like a lot of movies, there are things where he probably wrote a comic book that they ended up turning into a movie, so he got writing credit on all of those.
Yeah, that would have been true for those too, yeah.
Because he's I've noticed his projects that become movies tend to oddly turn out the best when they're directed by
Somebody else.
Zack Snyder. Oddly enough, Sin City 300.
Yeah. Yeah, those two that seemed to be the perfect pairing for
Actually,
no.
Zack Snyder didn't work on Sin City. Frank Miller actually was one of the directors for that, along with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. But like I said, though, he usually his stuff seems to be the best when it was an actual comic story he wrote that got turned into a movie.
Yeah, this one I don't think it got turned into a comic book until well after the movies had come out. So if there was extra editing that made the comic book version better, it didn't happen until after all this had come out.
So the next character on our list is the leader of the rebellion, Bertha.
Oh,
I don't know if I've seen this lady in anything else.
I swear I've seen her before.
CCH Pounder. That's a weird name. That feels like it's an abbreviation of something for the first name. Do I recognize? She was in Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would explain.
Monsters, that's our way of water.
Yeah. She was. I think she was like a general.
Apparently, she's done a lot of
she used to play Amanda Waller, Batman Arkham Underworld.
Yeah, she's done a lot of voice acting roles from the looks of it. But the main reason I know I've seen her before is almost definitely the
Carol
Godzilla.
Christine.
Oh, she voiced Coldfire in Gargoyles.
Amanda Waller a couple times now, 3 times.
Honestly, I should have recognized her voice from voicing Amanda Waller when I saw her. But you know what the thing is, so she doesn't look anything like Amanda Waller's character, so that's probably why my brain didn't do the connection.
Didn't quite connect it.
In spite of hearing her voice. But
she was also anchor woman for Batman Beyond.
Oh, she was on Face Off.
Oh fuck! We just watched that yesterday.
Yeah, she was
Miller.
She was the the group that was part of the project.
Yeah, that set up the project for John Travolta to switch his face with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Is there really anything we can say? Is there much we can say about her character? She was kind of just the strong leader type that didn't really have a whole lot to say.
She was a pretty good, solid leader type for the group until they out and shot her in the middle of one of the raids.
Yeah, and then she was just dead after.
She's just like, run. Ugh.
Yeah, very well. Give me a thumbs up.
It's
It's
like
like
it's like
I
if
guess.
Gandalf said "Fly, you fools," but then instead of falling off a ledge, he just goes and dies. Um, some of these other characters I don't really remember. Seltz and Zach, I don't remember
I
those.
feel like those were probably
Those
just
must have been
one
like
of the.
those must have been minor background characters that. Oh,
The other,
Seltz was I think was McDaggett's second in command.
ah,
But once again, that's a character. He basically didn't have any spoken dialogue, so there's not really anything you can say about him, other than he died real good when that tank blew up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's one of my kind of my favorite evil crony deaths, where they see the death coming and they just start screaming, going, "I can't die," and then they die.
We have we have the wonderfully uh, jolly Kuntz.
Oh
Coons, yes,
god,
another heavy-set guy who, once again, in the middle of the movie, betrays everybody.
yep, and gee, get their just rewards.
Yeah,
Yeah, he gets killed in the middle of that raid.
yeah.
Yep.
He got screwed a lot worse than the crooked cop did in the second movie.
Hmm.
In fact, the fact that you said that this the plot from this and the second movie were actually supposed to be the one same plot. I
I
bet
wonder if that's maybe
I
supposed to
bet
be the same
yeah,
characters. Yeah.
I bet that was supposed to be the same character and this was when he was supposed to be found out, but because it got split into two separate movies,
Hmm.
they did two separate characters with the same
Mo.
story basically. And
Yeah.
early on you actually think he's like the crooked cop, you basically could tell right away
Yeah.
he was the traitor because the first time you see him, he's snorting cocaine in the police station.
Right.
You know that there's something up with him right away. This guy just looks like a regular rebel that's like
A
afraid for
little
his own
touchy once in a while
well-being.
because he's a little over touchy because he's panicking a bit.
Yeah, because like he's like when when they decide to bring RoboCop with them when they run away, he's like, are you guys sure this is a good idea? I don't trust him. I don't trust him. He's a cop. It's like, and that makes sense from the mindset that they're in to be saying that. It's just he was actually the fucking traitorous piece of shit.
Yep.
And the mechanic Moreno didn't really have a whole lot to say, but like he's the one actor that like as soon as I saw him, I'm like, I know I've seen that guy in something else because I recognized him from. It took me a while to figure out what it was. I had to look at his IMDb page. I recognized him from episodes of Seinfeld. I think he was like on this board for this company that George Costanza's character was working at. Yeah, because he's the one. He's the one that I think initially made fun of George for sticking a bunch of shrimp in his mouth in one episode where they had a meeting. Uh, it's he didn't really do a whole lot in this, but it's weird that he stuck out to me, especially because even though I literally saw Bertha's actress in a movie me and Kevin watched yesterday, I didn't recognize her. Then again, I don't know how far apart these movies were and how much her age would have made her look different. Um, this is actually probably close to the same time as Face Off, I would assume, because they're both from the '90s, aren't they?
Yeah.
RoboCop 3 was in the '90s. Let me double check again. How close together were those movies? Face Off '97.
About 5 years.
RoboCop. Oh, RoboCop 3 is '93. Yeah,
93.
yeah. Then again, in the movie we watched yesterday, she wasn't like covered in shit to look like she was living in a slum.
Also possible.
I'm just, I'm surprised I didn't recognize her when she literally was in something I watched yesterday. I don't know how that just flew over my head. Um, were there any other major new characters to discuss?
Not really. A lot of them were just kind of side offs from there. Maybe one or two good quick moments.
We do got to talk about Otomo.
Oh, Otomo, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, this guy, because I forgot he's not in the top cast. I had to go to the extended cast to see him listed. The cyborg, is he a cyborg or an android? I don't think we ever really got confirmation on
As
what
far
he
as I'm
was.
aware, he's an android.
So the
He's a robot.
android ninja, which made for some of the most uninteresting fight choreography I've ever seen in an action movie.
Mostly him jumping around doing
Yeah.
flips and kicking Robocop's ass until he gets a gun and shoots him.
Yeah, he literally drop kicks RoboCop like 2 or 3 times, chops off his fingers, then chops off his whole hand, and then for whatever reason, instead of finishing RoboCop off, he gives him enough time to put on his gun arm and blast him in the head. And you're just like, wow, that was a really stupid fight scene. Considering
Fun
like,
fact, he's a voice actor for Lollipop Chainsaw.
but it's a weird thing where like once again, the writing dictated a character had to be stupid in order for the plot to progress because he had to be stupid in order for RoboCop to actually beat him.
He had to be stupid for Robocop to beat him, but also Robocop had to be momentarily stupid and slow for him to get the one up on him.
And then later in the movie, he comes back and to quote a certain character from Star Wars, "No, there are 2 of them."
One gets shot in the face and there's a permanent mask of a creepy smile, then the other one shows up. Yep.
Yeah,
And then there's a temporary face-off. They're about to kill RoboCop, and then the little girl reprograms them to attack each other.
which they really don't even explain how she did that without physically touching them at all.
Wireless hacking.
Which is not something that really existed back in the 90s, but whatever.
Nope. She got the Wi-Fi on that little laptop of hers.
I have a feeling this was at the time this was made, this was supposed to be a dystopian future we hadn't reached yet, so they probably were assuming there was better technology that we'd have eventually. I don't know. There's not much we can say about him other than how stupid his fight scenes were. Because he didn't talk.
You never talked to the only good fight scene he was in was when he was against the humans. Because
Yes.
then they did some generally interesting stuff with him there.
Yeah, when he got hit in the head with a pipe, and he looked back up and his jaw was like shattered and out of place, and he just had this creepy smile and pushed his face back together. That was legit well done. That was fucking creepy. That sold him as a villain. The problem is the next scene we saw him in completely tore it apart because it just sucked after that.
Pretty much.
He's a character that he probably would have been a good villain in a non-RoboCop movie.
He was an interesting robotic villain that, if written more properly, would have actually come off really well.
He would
But
have.
again, they just kind of slapped him in there, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh.
He's a character that I think would have been more interesting to see go up against the Terminator rather than RoboCop. Whereas like the Terminator's not like super fast either, but he's also not like a chunk of metal that moves in slow motion. So it's like it feels like he would have probably fit in better in that universe than he did here. But I mean, it's not exactly that he just doesn't fit in this universe. It's just that him fighting RoboCop was not interesting to watch because there's no.
Well, whatever they were going for on screen did not come to in fruition on that one.
There was no way to have good fight choreography with a character like RoboCop whose whole thing is being slow and just aiming really good. It's
at least not at the time. That's for sure. The money was probably just not there to make it happen.
I mean, maybe if they had used the jetpack that they had an excuse to use in this movie, and worked that into the fight with the acrobatic ninja, it would have been more
Oh
interesting.
yeah, that would have been much more interesting if they could afford that. Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They just saved that for him showing up at the end to take out all the bad guys that are fighting the cops and the rebels at the end. After
which
the cops
which is
decide we're not
And
putting up
make
with
the
this
escape
shit.
from the explosion. Yeah.
yeah, but hey, that scene was awesome. So
Yeah, I mean that scene was fine. I'm just saying that like
I know.
they could have used the backpack for the scene with the fighting
At
the
least
android ninja, and it would have been more
at least
interesting.
at least there's some way to give RoboCop a little more momentum speed, so not so just to be slow guy versus fast guy.
RoboCop's jetpack is literally the Eagles of the Lord of the Rings.
Why didn't they just fly the ring there and drop it in?
Why didn't RoboCop just fly in and just destroy everyone?
That's what he did as soon as he had a chance. So, I think that's more or less everything we have to cover. So
That's all the main ones. The only one I would shout out that we haven't had a mention of is the donut cop scene. The
Uh,
donut scene.
oh god, the donut shop.
Donut shop. Yeah, I think I said cop by accident. The
Yeah,
shop scene.
yeah, where the guy is robbing a donut shop, and
Just
all of a sudden,
all the guns.
just all of a sudden, hears
yeah.
freeze, and there's like 20 cops pointing guns at him, and then the cashier looks at him and goes, "Tell me, what's it like to be a rocket scientist?"
It's like
Like
three places.
even if it wasn't not just the whole donut shop thing, but the fact that he didn't look around at all before he attempted to rob the place.
I
Um,
just I
there
I
was
just say there's three.
there's one other character worth mentioning that I forgot about.
Mm,
Fleck. Fleck, the guy that kind of stood in for Johnson for a bit. That was
Oh, yeah.
Oh
trying
yeah,
to boss things.
Johnson standing.
The, even though he was not the the primary evil in this movie, I actually think I hated him more than McDaggett.
Oh
Mm,
yeah. He was a slime ball. He was constantly making essentially lewd remarks on some of the women in the movie
yeah.
and being a complete jackass to both Johnson as well as the new CEO. And then as soon as he eats trial from the CEO, he immediately just walks onto the hall and shoots himself in the head.
Yeah,
Yep.
he gets fired and just immediately kills himself. Which, by the lead up to that was also kind of weird because of the fact that they showed a guy that didn't like how things were going at the corporation that literally
Jumped
opened
out the
his
window.
office window and leapt out while his wife was trying to console him.
Walking down. Yeah.
Mm,
And then the Johnson and Fleck are walking down the hall, and somebody mentions so and so jumped out of his window, and they're like, "Oh, it's the fourth one this week." I'm like, "What?"
well, and he says like he's a coward for taking the cheap way out.
Well, also the
And
fact that
that flashes his gun.
they're just so casually. Oh, that's the fourth executive to commit suicide by jumping out of the building this
Yeah.
week. You think at that point you just seal the windows so that no one can do that?
Windows now have nets,
Oh my
boys.
god, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now aside from being a sleazeball, and the thing with women was the fact that he wanted them to rip RoboCop's emotions out. Like he basically had it explained to him that yes, he is, even though he's mostly machine, he is still human. He's like, I don't care. I don't want him to be human. Tear his shit out. That's like,
Which,
Sure, shit. How do we want him to be part of
which at that point it's like that
the
just make
enforcers that are trying to get people out of their homes?
at that point,
that
that defeats the point of not just using Ed 209, which was the original plan in the first movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was, but yeah, and the thing is, I remember when we were watching it when they were talking about this stuff. I was like, I understand that this is sci-fi, and that OCP more or less in this dystopian setting more or less owns Detroit, so they have complete control of the city.
Mhm.
The thing is, I'm pretty positive, like, if something like this were a real thing, there would actually be, like, legal, ethical things about not being able to
I'm
wipe a
pretty
human
sure
being's
by the
memory.
time, yeah, by the time World Cop 2 would have rolled through in life, they basically would have had no company anymore.
Or there would have been some laws passed or something. Because the thing is, even if you own a city, it's like, okay, but here's the thing: the city still has to answer to the state government, which in turn still has to answer to the federal government. It doesn't matter how much control OCP has over that city. There are still higher governments that they would have to be beholden to. You can't just do shit like that.
Oh boy, but I have all the money. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. Oh.
I want to say so much or the whole back.
But more or less, I think we now are out of specific topics. So we'll go through the final thoughts, starting with you, Matt.
I will say that some of the topical stuff that does come up also in this movie is still pretty decent. It just doesn't come up very often. Um, Action sequences range from really good to highly disappointing. So do some of the plot points. About the only good thing about this movie is pretty much wherever Robo heads, something good is about to happen. So at least you'll be entertained, and if not, also highly enticed to keep watching, even despite some of the plot failings. Um, yeah, it's not as bad as I remember it being, but it's still not a particularly good movie. It's just not like a highly treasonous movie like certain other films in recent history.
Yeah, like some of the other
Like some of the other
sequels.
things we've also watched
Yeah,
in this show too.
yeah. Some of the other sequels we've covered. Some of the video game like most of the sequels and video game adaptations we've done for this and the Outhouse have been worse than RoboCop 3. There's like a few that might not be.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd say Masters of the Universe is probably better than this.
Just a
So
little. Just a
somebody
little.
somebody might hate me for saying that, but
I would
uh
say it's only better because they actually focused on what they needed to focus on, which was the action sequences. Just saying.
Ojunix, Mr. Defender.
I know it's not a perfect movie. Doesn't have to be. It's just good. I could say good, clean fun. It's more good, dirty fun. But
For you it's probably a guilty pleasure.
yeah, it's. I put this in the same boat as Independence Day. It's not. It's not. It's definitely not good, but I enjoy it. It's fun. I have a good time when I watch it, and I still feel good at the end.
As for me, like I kind of alluded to this earlier, but I think one of the biggest saving graces of this is the return of the soundtrack from the first movie. Because
Mm.
that's one thing I didn't like in RoboCop 2. While I overall thought RoboCop 2 was a better movie than this, and something else I don't like about Prime Directives is that none of those movies have the theme in them at all. Um,
Yeah.
but overall, there are some good things in this, but just the fact that, like, to me, a lot of the writing and the plot is just stupid. It's I would not call this a good movie. I would call it an okay movie. But it's
Mhm.
nowhere near the worst we've done for the podcasts. It's nowhere. It's yeah. I don't I
It's not Friday. Jason Goes to Hell. It's not Matrix sequels.
Oh God, you made me remember that. No.
It's not. Um, bleh. It's not Ghostbusters 2016, but it's by no means like a Shrek 2.
Somehow my brain had blanked out on the fact that we watched Matrix Resurrections until you said that just now.
The memories come flooding back. No, make
No,
them stop.
wait, we watched the Matrix movies? Aha!
Why you do this to me? Why?
The only one of those I really hated was the fourth one. Like,
I was gonna say, I would say even 3 in a sense is a guilty pleasure, except for the ending. The ending.
yeah, oh yeah,
is-
Matrix Revolutions is kind of a guilty pleasure.
This ending sucks.
And the ending, like I remember when that movie came out, I remember there were people that watched that, and in the theaters, if you were one of the people that were there when it got to the end of the movie, there was a high chance you were just going to hear somebody yell, "What the hell just happened?" Because the way they ended it, it didn't, like, not everybody gets stuff that's supposed to be symbolic, so there's going to be people that are just going to see that and be like, what did that mean? What happened?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a point where even symbology loses meaning, so it's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, sadly, symbolism really does fly over a lot of people's heads.
Did I watch a movie or did I just have an acid trip? Ah.
I think the ending just gave me an aneurysm.
Nope, I just feel less. I just feel more stupid now.
Yeah, but I did hate this less than I did when I originally watched it. And like I said, I think that was because the first time I watched it, when Lewis died, I was just so pissed I didn't care about anything that happened after that.
And that's understandable, especially for a character that you grew attached from the previous movies. And that's normal, because any franchise that goes past one story and you become attached, and then suddenly that character dies,
Well,
yeah, you're gonna feel very detached.
and I'm not against killing important characters, but when it's a character like that, their death has to feel like it has a meaning and some sort of deeper meaning to the overall plot. And in this, it didn't. It felt like they just killed her and moved on. And it felt
Yeah, they
stupid.
just go on to kill her to move on, and it was pointless.
Basically, if she had
some sort of heroic sacrifice moment, it would have worked better. But no, she had I'm dumb and I'm standing in front of the guy that's bulletproof. Oh no, I got shot.
I admit, I almost feel like maybe if you remove Bertha, was it?
Bertha, yeah.
If you removed her and then had Anna Lewis, it was just being run by the old guy, and then during the raid scene,
yeah, if she had died where Bertha died, and was telling people to like run before she went down, that would have been more impactful than the way she actually died in this.
Yeah,
because the weird thing is with Bertha, it felt like that was supposed to mean something to you, but they hadn't developed her character enough for you to care.
See, there you go. We just literally probably fixed
Just fix the script.
Yeah.
How many times have we done that while doing these videos? I feel like we've done that more than once.
More times than I can count. In my own head, in fact, too.
But in any case...
Matter of fact, I think that's the second or third thing we've fixed for the script.
Probably. Yeah, this movie specifically, we've been pointing out weird plot holes that could have been so easily fixed if you just done something slightly different. And this isn't even one of the movies...
209, let him fight the tank!
And I think the fact that this movie is not just a complete awful piece of crap, that's why all the stupid decisions in the story are annoying, because you're like, this movie could have been better if you just had not done that way. But next time, I don't know if Ojunix will be with us because we don't know his schedule until the week starts. Next time we will be doing Robocop Prime Directive's Dark Justice.
Oh, dear Lord.
Here come the Prime Directives, folks. See you all next time. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.